Hurricane Milton is rapidly approaching Florida, with experts warning it could become one of the most devastating storms in the state's history. Set to make landfall as a Category 5 hurricane on Wednesday morning, Milton has already triggered mass evacuations, with 6 million residents under hurricane watch warnings. The National Weather Service and local authorities have labeled the situation as life-threatening, with dire predictions of storm surges as high as 9 feet and winds that could reach up to 150 miles per hour. Some forecasts suggest that certain areas could experience even more extreme conditions, with wind speeds possibly hitting 175 miles per hour and storm surges up to 15 feet in the Tampa area. Veteran meteorologists are raising alarms over the potential scale of destruction. David Hartman, a highly respected weatherman from Mississippi, took to social media to warn that Hurricane Milton could be the worst natural disaster in modern history for Florida. His post, shared on X, formerly Twitter, emphasized the unprecedented nature of the storm, calling attention to the fact that it is already categorized at the maximum strength for hurricanes. Category 5 hurricanes are rare, and they are defined by wind speeds of 157 miles per hour or higher, with the potential to cause catastrophic damage to buildings, roads, and infrastructure, and Milton is no exception. The warning is particularly alarming given that the Tampa area is forecast to endure the brunt of the storm's fury, including powerful winds and immense flooding. The ongoing evacuations began at 10 a.m. on Monday as local authorities urged residents in vulnerable areas to leave as soon as possible. People have been rushing to stock up on essential supplies, causing shortages in gas, food, and water across much of the state. Many flights have sold out, and highways are packed with traffic as millions attempt to flee from the storm's path. Residents and officials alike are deeply concerned, especially since large parts of Florida are still recovering from the effects of Hurricane Helene, which struck not long ago and left widespread damage in its wake. For those whose homes were damaged during Helene, Milton presents an even more daunting threat, with the potential to obliterate properties that were already weakened by the earlier storm. Startling spaghetti models, projections that show the possible paths of a hurricane, paint a grim picture of Hurricane Milton's trajectory. These models show the storm covering vast portions of Florida, with a particularly high risk for coastal areas. The storm's current path suggests that major cities like Tampa and surrounding regions could see unprecedented flooding and destruction. Residents are bracing for the worst, and emergency services are on high alert, preparing for the massive recovery and rescue efforts that will likely follow the hurricane's landfall. The situation is eerily reminiscent of previous historic hurricanes like Andrew, but experts warn that Milton could be even more devastating. As the hurricane edges closer to the U.S., all eyes are on the live updates and reports from meteorologists, emergency agencies, and government officials, who are scrambling to provide the most up-to-date information to help those in the path of the storm. For those in Florida, now is the time to take the warnings seriously. If you're in an evacuation zone, leaving early can make a huge difference. The storm is predicted to bring life-threatening conditions, not just from the high winds, but also from the massive storm surges and flooding that can sweep through coastal and low-lying areas. Following evacuation orders and heeding the advice of emergency services is essential in a situation like this, where minutes can make a difference between life and death. The time to prepare is running out, and authorities are doing everything they can to ensure that the public is ready to face one of the most dangerous storms in recent history. Stay tuned to official sources for the latest updates and keep in touch with local emergency services as they continue to monitor the storm's progress and adjust evacuation orders as needed.